first of all, thank you so much for having me here, for having us here. And thank you for accepting my invitation.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Actually, I'm quite excited to do this with you too.
I'm not sure I pronounced your name right. Yidan.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Yidan. Tell me a little bit about yourself before you arrived to Thailand.
Yeah. I moved to Thailand about 4 years ago. I think 2018. Yeah, I was working in marketing for crypto projects. So back in China, I was a marketing director for a blockchain technology company. And then I was searching for job offers, like mostly in Asia area, because I wanted to have some overseas like working experiences. So I was mainly looking into like Thailand, Singapore, and Tokyo. Eventually, I got the job offer from Thailand, which happens to be the country actually I loved a lot. Back then I traveled to Thailand many times already. So the offer itself was also quite decent amount of money, and most importantly, I feel myself can have like a quite nice quality of life actually living in Thailand instead of like Singapore and Tokyo. Yeah. So that's why I moved to Bangkok, and then I worked for that company for about 1.5 years until like COVID started. Yeah, early 2019, and then things started to like change rapidly. You know, all the events got canceled because for me, my background was marketing, and I was mainly doing a lot of like event organization, PR, and also business developing. So I have to go to a lot of like conferences, physical conferences. So when COVID started, I suddenly just stopped everything, like stopped traveling around the world, because I used to travel like crazy. You know, every other week I have to leave Thailand to some other country. And then I just moved to islands. I lived on different islands for about a year. Yeah, Samui, Koh Phangan, Koh Chan, Koh Tao. And then we traveled with a bunch of friends. All of us, we traveled to Chiang Mai. And then suddenly, my friend and I, we just had this idea about owning a house here. I mean, it's been a couple years since we started to live here. And we've been traveling like for decade year. Like since when I started to work, I always has been traveling a lot. So we both had a feeling like we kind of want to settle down. So, and also compared to Bangkok, the house in Chiang Mai was so cheap. Like we looked around the house market here, and with like less money, we can actually own a villa here. And then we just like bought a house together with my bestie. Then I started to explore more around Chiang Mai. And then we kind of bumped into this place, Chen Dao. We started to hang out with a lot of locals here, and found this community is quite interesting one. And for me, I just keep like having animals coming to me, like starting back then. Yeah,
I met you a year ago, and that's when I thought, okay, I need to meet this person again and listen to her full story, because this sounds interesting. I met you just got lucky.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make you tell that story again.
Yeah. So all the friends around me, they were like, they haven't seen me for a while. They will ask like, hey, how many animals you have right now? Because the numbers keep growing, you know, for the past year. It started from 0 to 8 right now. And so it's more and more, I started to feel like I have to have a project like this. Otherwise, there's no way I can accommodate all the pets I have right now. And this is one of the reasons like I started this farm thing. But another reason is also this COVID situation. And also myself, more and more I feel like I want to live like when I was a kid back then in China, because I was pretty much raised up in the countryside in China.
And where in China?
It's a small town in Zhejiang province, not far from Shanghai actually. It changed a lot since like I started to grow up. It's not really a countryside anymore. We started to have like Starbucks and McDonald's over there.
Yeah.
So, you know, so that's like that's the countryside, like my hometown, I can never go back to because it's completely changed. But I found this type of similar feelings actually in Qingdao. Yeah, it's quite interesting. So that's how I feel like, hey, actually, I will be able to live like a kid again. Yeah, here in another country.
That's wonderful. So have you done any farming growing up?
Well, not much. Like when I was a kid, mostly I was just like helping the adults, you know, most of the time. Just like the kid of my neighbor that we were helping, you know. Like when they were, you know, planting the rice, we were also trying to help getting into the mud, having fun. But mostly we were just like playing, instead of helping.
And when did the travel lifestyle start?
Started when I first got my first job. Like actually I haven't even graduated yet. I was working as an intern for this first company I had, and that was quite a nice opportunity I got from that company. It wasn't that much of a big company, but the boss of the company kind of valued me a lot and give me a lot of opportunities to like do a lot of business trip by myself. So I worked for that company actually for almost 6 years, from like intern to basically like managing director kind of role. Yeah. So that's like 2013. Yeah, 2013.
Wow. Did you enjoy the traveling side? Was it something that you wanted?
Yeah, I think it was something that I wanted when I was at that age. Yeah, because that when I was like 20-ish, right? You are still really into exploring the world. You don't want to settle down anywhere, not in one city, not in the same country. So I think I'm quite lucky. Like each different stage of my life, I found myself in a quite suitable position. Like when I was younger, very energetic, exploring, I got a chance to actually explore the world, not on my own cost. And then now I kind of feel like, you know, I can take a break. And then I bump into this project. Like I starting to actually spend more time in the same country and same piece of land. I'm still exploring, but it's like different perspective. Day by day, I'm staying on the same piece of land, but I'm being able to actually exploring more details. You know, like we said, like the different color of the sky, and every day you it's still the same sky, the same land, but you see different colors, you see different minor things of the same space. Yeah.
So you brought that curiosity about the world to your own little world here.
Yeah.
Where you experiencing the micro environment around you.
Yeah.
What are the things that you noticed around other than the sky changing all the time?
There's so many small things, like for example, all the different insects, you know, even like the pest that I never knew, like that kind of, you know, you always think this pink little eggs before, and before I never knew this is actually one of the major pests you need to kill for the young rice. You know, before I was like, you know, it's pink, it's cute, why do you have to kill it? Yeah. And now you know, and all these things like mowing the grass, it's super difficult actually to keep a good lawn, you know. Before you see people have a grass field, you don't really appreciate that much. But now I feel like, fuck, it's so much work to actually do that. Yeah. Every small thing. Yeah,
the small things. So you had to learn this here, all of it, or did you take time to learn theory first and study things about farming, and then you dipped your feet in it?
For me, I'm mostly the type of person like learns things by actually doing it. Yeah, and I found this is quite a good way for myself, not like for everyone, because there's so many things. Like there's no way I actually can find the knowledge or theory online or from other people. For example, when I first started to live in this bamboo house, I started to have this type of like beetles. They've been eating my bamboo house from inside out.
Wow.
And they're creating a lot of powders everywhere. At the beginning, I was just like curious, where all this dust and powder coming from? And then later I did my research online and then realized, oh, it's a beetle called like powder post beetles.
Wow.
They love eating bamboo and wood. If you let them alone, like maybe in a year or two, your house will collapse.
Oh my God.
You wouldn't notice, you know? Like you would feel odd, like why my house just collapsed from nowhere. So then I started to try all different solutions, you know, because even I asked many local people, they will tell me different solutions. Some of them will tell me, oh, this type of solution, like some spray medicine and stuff, you can use them. But I used and, you know, it helped for like 20%. And then some of them told me, oh, you can burn a bonfire to smoke them. And then that's not really good for my pets. So you gotta try. Yeah.
So what did you end up doing?
I found another type of like solution that they sell actually quite commonly around, but still that doesn't really 100% solve the problem. But I kind of make it into my habit right now. Every day I waking up and I see some powder, I just like carry this bottle everywhere. I'm like spray. So they're just getting less and less and less. Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. In terms of partnerships, I find it's really difficult to get into business with family members, friends, or a partner. It's just complicated to maintain and balance that personal relationship and business. The two are super complex and different. Otherwise, it would be great.
Yeah.
How did you balance that with your bestie, and how long have you been besties for?
Actually, not that long. But first of all, like we only like own the house over there in Chiang Mai. So for us, it's not really a business thing. It's just more like we're both kind in this status that we having this lack of security. You know, we want some place to call home. And then we invested in this house together. But it's not really an investment. We're both thinking of having this place to stay instead of like consider it as an investment. Because first of all, in Chiang Mai, buying a house is not a good investment. You can with that money you can do a lot of other business. Yeah, because the house value is not really going up that much. And secondly, if we consider as a business or investment, that gonna bring us, you know, arguments and for sure. Unless we have like clear contract about if we ever gonna make some value out of it, what is the percentage? But again, you're always gonna have arguments if it's a business. Yeah. So I am quite careful about things like this with friends and family all the time. Even when I'm buying land here with that friend, we bought together. But technically, we don't have any like kind of benefit conflicts or anything. We both, because when we bought it, it's like a whole piece of land on the same channel. But then later we split the channel and we registered the land under our own company. So everything is quite clear. You know, there's no legality problem. Yeah. So that's how I think the only way you can avoid problems in the future. You have to be very clear, and there's no gray area when you actually first started.
Was it difficult to set up here as a foreigner? Legal side?
Not really, but the biggest problem is always that you have to carry this 1% of risk. You know, what if, because I have a lot of friends asking me like, hey, how did you set up the company here to own the land? Can you help me doing that? I always need to warn them, unless you accept there's always going to be this 1 or 2% of risk, that what if this company or this Thai shareholders decide to fuck you up? You know, they can always do that. And you need to prepare for the worst situation, right? And this is something that I always like warn them about. No matter like what kind of methods you eventually choose. For example, some of them they register through a law firm. Some of them they choose Thai people that they personally trust, and then they will nominate them as their shareholders. So all these different ways, there are always going to be risk exists. Yeah.
As with all businesses, right?
Yeah. But in Thailand, it will be, for example, compared to a place like Singapore,
Yeah.
probably it will be more secured in Singapore doing all these things. Right?
Yeah, okay. And for the farming, how long did you spend for the farming so far? Was it designed from the get-go? You knew exactly what you were gonna plant?
Not really. For this project and the things that I farm, I'm quite spontaneous and kind follow the rhythm of the nature kind of feeling. Like at the beginning, I didn't really like. Of course, time to time, I would think like, oh, it will be nice to grow some flowers here, or grow some crops, some vegetables, things here. I would do some planning like that. But then, for this rice part, I always been want to do that, but I had some difficulties before to actually figure out, the water flow and where to dig the trench and to lead the water. And I had to do a lot of preparation before I actually planted. For example, even digging the pond at the end to lead all the water from this upper land to the lowest spot of my land, so it doesn't really flood my living area, right? So all these things I have to do, and eventually I've done everything and I'm ready. And then I was looking around for people to help me grow the rice together, plant the rice together, and there was no one. And then I was kind of frustrated at the beginning, because back then, first of all, everyone was busy. All the farmers were busy. And secondly, my land is not really that big of a piece of land for them. They found it's kind of a little bit awkward to grow because it's not complete. For other land, it's complete a farmland. They can like grow it with machine completely.
One lot.
Yeah, just done. But here, I have a house, I have this, I have that. It's kind of complicated for them. Yeah. But then eventually I was able to like have my neighbors to help me. And that was actually 1 month after, other land started to grow. Yeah. But you cannot really get in rush here. It's if it's gonna come, it's gonna come. But no matter how like rushing you are, sometimes you're only making the things slower.
Wow. When did you learn this lesson?
By working with all these locals here, at the very beginning. And also, I think throughout the 4 years I've been living here, when I first got to Bangkok, I was still this type of Chinese hardcore working, like corporation employee kind of mentality.
Yes. And
I had a Thai team with like about 10 members. They were all Thai. And I had difficulties working with them for sure, because it's completely different working culture and habits. In China, like if you leaving like before 9 o'clock at night, it's not really extra,
Wow.
It's completely normal.
Wow.
You're not working extra. But I remember my first day, I was working in that company in Bangkok. I got off work like 6 or something. I came out, no one was there anymore. Yeah. Because everyone's left. It's 6 on sharp. They just leave. You know? And that was like the first day ever I was leaving my job on time. So along the whole years, I changed a lot from like a really, really hardcore Chinese employee to kind of sabai, jiayin kind of feel. But you still get the jobs done. But even like, the workers, I had workers here, like they would have all this, they don't no shows. But they have their reasons. For example, there was longan collecting season 2 weeks ago, right? They had to leave to collect longan for like 1 month and they couldn't show up to work. I mean, you cannot really be rushed on that. They have their own job, right?
Yeah.
So,
and there is a huge difference in cultures as well, on the way of approaching life and work. And I felt like since I've been in Thailand, I felt like it's it's just different approach to productivity and what is productivity and how it fits in life. And the two don't necessarily merge, life and work. It's so interesting, and it's completely different. I remember this just from your Instagram. You spent the night camping in your land before you built the house. What was that experience like?
That was right after, because before, when I bought this piece of land, it was completely rice field, right?
Yeah.
And I was waiting for the harvesting for about half year. And then finally, everything's being harvested. I just kind of want to try to live on this land for one night first, to feel, how it feels to live on a land that you bought personally. Also feel the wind, the lighting and everything. I think it's important to know all these details before you're gonna build anything on top of it. So I was camping here, like in the middle of the rice field with myself and with Lucky.
Yeah.
And then everyone passing by, all the villagers passing by, they will be like, is that a girl like camping there? And they all saying hi to me and then give me the thumb up. They were like, and they asking me, are you alone? I'm like, yeah, I'm alone. And they're so surprised, like I'm actually camping there alone.
Are you consider yourself a camper?
I do love camping, but I'm for me, like if I have more time, I will for sure do more camping. But for now, it's just not really like convenient for me to camp elsewhere anymore with all the animals and everything. But if I'm alone, solo traveler, I would love to camp to so many places.
Now you have a full-time job with all the animals and the farm and the housekeeping and everything. What a day in a life of Idan looks like?
Well,
a typical day.
It's quite like chaotic, honestly, starting from the early morning. So I usually go to bed like about 11 something and then wake up like 6, 7. And then the first thing is always deal with the pets, give them food, change their water, and wash my hedgehog's wheel because he will be shitting a whole night and it will be super stinky. Cleaning, just like the first hour of the first morning is just dealing with the food and shit of all the animals. And then I started to finally do something for myself, make myself a coffee, some simple breakfast. Nowadays I don't really have time to kind of cook for myself anymore. When I first moved in, I wasn't really working for so many projects back then. Right now, I kind of like working freelance again for some crypto projects and here and there. So I'm getting quite busy and I have to sacrifice on this cooking part. So make some like cereal stuff, And then these days I usually would work in the pet house that I just recently built. Because first of all, in the daytime, I'll be running the AC for them anyway. So it's like, it's just easy to work there and also keep them company. And around noon, sometimes I would go to the local market to buy some food. It's super cheap. It's like 5 minutes drive from here. And your budget will be like 50 baht to 100 baht. You can have a really good meal. And afternoon, if it's not too hot, sometimes I would do some farm work. Depends on the weather. If it's like super sunny, like today, you cannot really go out to do any farm work, literally. When the weather was cool, sometimes I would check the rice field to see if there's any, get rid of the weed and the pest, or do some mowing of my grass, fix some stuff here and there. And by the evening time, if I need to cook, usually I love cooking Chinese, so at least I need like 1 hour ahead of time to prepare a lot of ingredients. That's a problem of cooking Chinese, it's not really that simple. A lot of things you need to marinate them, so you need to prepare ahead of time. So
slow cooking. Tell me a little bit about the history of Chandao.
I have no idea, honestly, like for Qingdao. I just feel like this, first of all, this is kind like a city recently becoming really trendy. From my theory, I have some theories about this. First of all, I think COVID kind of makes people start to looking into this type of lifestyle, the nature and everything. We've been having a lot of like people from Bangkok starting into looking land in Qingdao to build their own house or to run some small business. So the land price actually doubled, like compared to like the point that I bought my land, which has been a year. It's actually has doubled already. So that's quite surprising. For Qingdao, I would say it's quite interesting place. Like it's not that rural. You know, it's 1.5 hour from Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
If you need to go to the city to do some errands, or for example, right now I'm doing some crypto freelance thing right now. Sometimes I need to go to Bangkok to attend some meetings. Then it's still quite convenient.
Yeah.
You 1.5 hour you can drive to the airport, and then you take a 1 hour flight to Bangkok, and then you finish the meeting, and then you can come back on the day or the next day. Yeah, if you want to kind of have some nightlife of Bangkok over there. So
that's super convenient.
Yeah,
that's super convenient. And there's a huge Chinese community here, right?
Not really in Qingdao. Qingdao, it's like, well, first of all, there are many second, third generations of Chinese immigrations in Thailand, right? But a lot of them, they have lost their language and culture and tradition already. They're mostly completely Thai already.
Right.
But for North Thailand generally, there are more Chinese immigrations, and also the people who have inherited their traditions more, than the people who's living in the cities like Chiang Mai and Bangkok. Yeah, for example, this city in the borderline of Myanmar and Thailand called Arunachai. It's only half hour driving from here. It's like a complete Chinatown, like from all the signs, all written in Chinese. They have Chinese school, and I can communicate with them completely in Chinese. But still, many of the elders over there, they speak like their own dialect.
Oh.
So they can't understand you. Like when I speak Mandarin, right? They can't understand me. But when they talk to me, it took me a while to understand them. I need to really pay attention to what they're talking. Yeah.
That's so interesting. There's a cultural mix in northern Thailand, all over Thailand actually. Yeah, it's so interesting to find that there are pockets of those communities around the country in the north.
Yeah, and the food, all the food. Yeah.
There's some food that only exists there. I don't think that it's still a thing in China.
Yeah. Some of them,
yeah, some recipes old.
Also, some of the food they have adapted to this taste in Thailand as well, using some herbs that Chinese probably would never use, local herbs, local food ingredients to actually adapt the cuisine they have actually their ancestors brought from China. So actually tonight we're going to a place like that.
I'm super excited about that. I'm looking forward to tasting something new, because I heard great things about that place. What aspects of your life were you able to maximize on? Or like, for example, some people go to places because it's better for their health or better for their love life. What was it like for you?
For me, mostly I'm looking into this type of content that I know knowingly that I'm doing something making me feeling mentally content about like there's many aspects of things actually help me to reach that type of mental status, right? For example, making me feel like I am valuable to a certain community. I'm making contribution. For example, helping my neighbors. Like my existence here have helped them increase their income. And in the future, I'll be bringing more guests here, either to stay here or to invest in the land, which I already have some potential clients right now. They want to buy the land in Qingdao. So generally, it's like increasing their potential of having more income. Yeah, this is one of the aspects making me feel like more content being in my status right now, to help in the communities that I am living. Yeah, making their life better. Yeah, and another thing is about the animals. I'm a big animal lover. At the beginning, I thought I'm only a cat lady, like I was super into cat for some reason. When I was super like young, like 5 years old, 7 years old, I already started to pick random street cats back home. It started from the beginning. And then in recent years, I just found this kind of connection with all random animals. The bird, the dog. It doesn't really limit it to cat anymore. I just kind of feeling this bonding with them. And I want them to be able to live, not just like, being well fed, but being able to live like physically and mentally healthy. That's also one of the struggles that I went through when I first had my cat. I had to actually keep her indoor all the time. This is how most of people who have cats nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Like you need to, for their own safety, they need to be kept indoor most of the time. But for me, I tend to think from the cat's perspective, right? Is she signed up for this life?
Yeah.
Like, is she willing to be like a fat ass, like, until the day she dies? So yeah, I'm trying to give all the animals that I have right now like a good quality life, just as mine.
Yeah, wow. That's what I'm seeing. They are so lucky. One is called Lucky, and she's super lucky. So you have now 4 dogs?
3 dogs.
3 dogs.
3 cats.
3 cats.
1 hedgehog, and 1 bird just showed up today, actually.
Wonderful. Okay, now tell me about building a house for a hedgehog. Why?
Yeah, so I spent like how much? $3,000.
Oh, wonderful.
More, just for my hedgehog. The problem was I have no way to have a temperature controlled room, like for example in the bamboo house for my hedgehog. And the temperature here in Qingdao, you can, like at night it can drop lowest to like 13 Celsius, and in the daytime maximum like 35, sometimes 34, and it's impossible for my hedgehog to survive here.
Yeah.
So then I figured, like, what if I build a temperature controlled room house for him, and also for the cats when the hottest. Actually, the cats were okay living here. Yeah, they are like they are safe, and they enjoy the bamboo house, and they don't really run around too far. So eventually I was like, yeah, I actually built that house for the hedgehog mostly. And now for the bird.
That's really great. Tell me a little bit about the future of this farm stay.
Yeah.
What's on your mind? What are the projects you're working on?
So my main goal when I first started this project, I was picturing this whole piece of land to be very, interesting community, like attract people who's working remotely, like digital nomads, or people who's traveling like a local. People who would stay in one city, one place for like 1 month or 2 months, who wants to experience more authentic culture instead of, go to the sightseeing places. And that's the people I want to attract, because I want them to have more interaction with the people who's living here, right? We can have more knowing and understanding about each other. We can do many activities together, discovering each other's hobbies, similarities, things in common, and bond together as a whole community. So that's when I first pictured like the ultimate goal. And when it comes to the actions, when I first built the bamboo area, I the main reason is because I needed a place to stay in a lowest cost and in a fastest way. And bamboo house was one of the top options I can go with. And once I settle down in this area, I will be able to build the rest of the places. Yeah, so coming up next, I will be starting to build this main area of like about 4 guest houses that will be more comfortable living for people who actually want to stay here above a month, right? And have a nice setup for them to work remotely, and also a main building with cafe and farm-to-table restaurant. So people would actually be able to live at the farm, and they can have everything they need here.
I think I'll come back for this. Whenever it's ready, I'm coming back for sure. It sounds like a dream. And I think a lot of people would benefit from the quiet. When we just arrived this morning, and there's this instant relaxation that I felt when I arrived here in Chandao, and even more here in your place, in your house, and then in the little bamboo house too. I'm usually I take a long time to fall asleep. I fell asleep instantly.
Oh, great.
So it's very comfortable, thank you. It's very clean, it's very nice. But the view is spectacular. It's just I don't think I can ever grow tired of this. And like you said, it keeps changing, so it keeps giving.
Yeah,
that's wonderful. I think people who would come here are in for a treat, and this is exactly what one would need when you're working on something challenging, or a business, or working to just give the mind somewhere to wander. It's a great job, honestly. What did you enjoy the most building? Like, when I say building, physically building a bamboo house, the physically growing the food and farming. What was your favorite part?
For me, I think my favorite part is to actually witness, the thing. For example, like before this house is being built, I was sketching this house on my iPad. And for my old job before, a lot of things designed online and they stay online, right? For a lot of projects that nowadays people are on some virtual or online stuff, it's hard to actually see this physical existence of your work or achievement. And for me, the most satisfying part is I sketched a house on my iPad, and half a month later, voila, you have the house. And then you are able to follow through actually a lot of things you designed just on the paper. For this small bamboo house as well, I sketched for like 5 minutes, and then I'm starting. It's like a puzzle. It's like a puzzle. I have the sketch, I'm looking for the team, and I need to find this supplier to customize this window and door for me. And then I need to find this and that and put all this puzzle together, and then you will have this house. It's a whole kind of process of combining this puzzle and eventually making your sketch on iPad come true.
A final tangible product. And this you said this hexagon, people are not used to build this form. It's very unique, actually. It's lovely. I loved it. They
never actually built, my team, they worked for me, they never built a house like this before. So that's also why when the house first being built, I had a lot of problems, this and that, because the team itself weren't able to actually warn me about things, because they never built it before. They basically just built it according to my design. But for me, it's also my first bamboo house. There are many things I couldn't be able to think of ahead, right? And then but I mean, the first thing, it's always gonna be full of mistakes, and that's kind of the way you learn.
You're also an artist.
Well, I majored in graphic design
Okay.
back in my college, and I personally enjoy drawing a lot too, as well. Nowadays, I don't really have that much time anymore, but I do enjoy like drawing and designing.
Yeah, I saw a drawing of all your pets. Did you finish all their portraits?
Not yet. I'm still working on it. Yeah, I drew the logo of my farm, and I want to draw every of my pets.
Yeah.
I want to paint them on my car.
Oh, they're
all the
so
things.
beautiful. Yeah, I love those. And have some stickers for your guests.
Yeah, yeah. So many things I can do. A lot of time when I'm here alone, you just don't have the desire to kind of social.
Wow.
You just want to sit here and be quiet and have this peaceful moment.
Mm.
And any conversation is not really comparable to this.
Wow, it's not worth the engaging, and
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see that. It's very calming. It's very calming to just exist. And we are more and more at least for me personally, it's very difficult to just be and exist.
Yeah.
More and more it's constant stimulation coming from everywhere.
Yeah.
Did you have trouble relaxing now when you're outside of your little cocoon now?
I do. Like I was actually I only started to live here full time like about half a month ago. Before that, I was traveling between Chiang Mai and here. And whenever I go back to Chiang Mai, to that modern house, right? I just also found myself not able to resist all these stimulations, all this comfort.
Yeah.
And without knowing, I'm just lying on the couch, order takeaway, and watching Netflix. And then later I will feel bad about it. I'll be like, what am I doing? You know, like I didn't consciously pick of doing this right now. It just fall into the old habits in that house, you know. That's how I feel like how important the environment is around you. And making you doing things you didn't consciously pick or want to do. But it's just like this setup make you feel like, oh, maybe I should watch some Netflix right now.
Yeah, it's all on default.
Yeah.
It's all on default. There's no intention. I feel like here there's more intention. Also, there's a lot of things that keeping you engaged. You have a full-time upkeep job.
Yeah, here there's no way there's no moment you feel like, oh, now Netflix and chill. No. Always new things popping up, right? It's like, oh fuck, storm. Like I gotta deal with the water leaking. Oh my god, my cat's escaping. Oh my god, the bird. Like,
and the rain too, and the changing everything. This has been lovely. Thank you so much.
you.
Where can people find you?
well, I'm running my YouTube channel right now.
Yeah.
It's called Edan's Farm Life in Thailand. That's one of the main channel. I'm updating the process of the whole farm project. And I also have my Instagram, as well.
Yeah.
Edan's, I think it's Edan's Farm Life Chendao or something. I don't really remember the ID anymore. But yeah, people can see the Instagram ID from my YouTube channel. So,
yeah. I'll share it too. Thank you so much, Edan.
Thank you.
It's
It
been
was
lovely. And I'm looking forward to enjoying this view.
Yeah, sunset
And
time.
the walking around sunset time.